what you just heard is the master roster count for the Florida Department of Corrections. This master roster count is done every day in every single institution in the state of Florida. I personally recited Powers, Jerod, 888-918 over 1,825 times during my stay at the Florida Department of Corrections at the FDOC Hilton. Now, the primary purpose of the master roster count is to make darn sure that every inmate is present and accounted for. But the secondary and more insidious result of this procedure is that it lets you know that you have been reduced to nothing more than a number. Now, when a man is given a DOC number, there's only one more number that is more important than that number. And it's more than a number. It's his EOS date, his end of sentence, his release date, if he has one. Flashback, Christmas 2002. As the plane landed that chilly evening in Syracuse Hancock International Airport, I hadn't seen my family in years. As that plane touched down and I started driving to see my grandparents, who, because of a Powers family feud and a bunch of bitterness and unforgiveness, my family had totally cut off. But as I drove those miles, I was singing the same song I sung for many years while incarcerated. I'll be home for Christmas. And as I saw my grandparents that Christmas evening, little did I know that would be the last time I would see my grandfather, because he would die a week before the next Christmas. And because of that same unforgiveness and bitterness in our family did not even attend my grandfather's funeral. But as I drove from there and pointed my car north to the foothills of the Adirondack Mountains to go and visit my mother and father and deliver this Christmas surprise, as I drove, I even prayed and sang this song that you're all familiar with. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Prayed for snow, the white menace as my father calls it. Speaking of a miracle, as I drove up that hill, it started falling. I had much to be thankful for, and as I knocked on that door, and my father answered the doors just before sunup on Christmas Day, he was shocked. And as he embraced me, he ushered me into the house and in front of the tree, and he goes and knocks on my mom's bedroom door. And he says, Santa brought you a gift. And she said, Bob, don't play with me. I'm on the bathroom. He said, no, really, come see what Santa brought you. And as she came out and saw me in front of that Christmas tree, she ran up and embraced me. And she hugged me, and she kissed my neck, and then she asked me promptly, are you on the run? So I showed her my papers. Now seriously, she had a legitimate reason to ask that question. Let me explain why she had these fears and how God, not Santa, had delivered this Christmas gift. At 14 years old, I was placed in Pinefield Psychiatric Center. At 15, LaSalle Catholic Reform School. At 15, I was in Tryon Detention Center in upstate New York. At 17, I was in Monroe County Jail. And at 22 years old, as I stood before a judge, one thing had changed in all of that. Someone had came into that jail cell and shared with me the gospel, how I could be forgiven of my sin, how I could be set free and pardoned. And it made all the difference. As I stood in front of that judge, as he sentenced me at 22 years old, I said, "Your Honor, I've been through your detention centers, reform schools, jails, and now you're going to send me to prison." I said, "But your system has failed to change this man." I said, "But I am walking with the Lord now, and if you give me 5 years or 10 years, it doesn't make a difference, because I am not going to do any more time. I am going to make a change." My friends, it was in the Florida Department of Corrections that I was introduced to Toastmasters. And the one thing I asked of the Lord as He changed my life was, give me the opportunity to tell others what you have done for me. It was in the Florida Department of Corrections that I received my Competent Toastmasters Award after giving my 10 speeches. April of 2004, 2005, I became a charter member of Northjax Toastmasters. I had the privilege of sitting under men such as our founder, Jim Hall, who has went all the way to the top in table topics and humorists, and men such as Jonathan Moyd and Mrs. Renee Moyd. 824-972. Northjax Toastmasters. It's more than a number. It's a call to serve. Contest Master.